Hey, so let's jump right into a really cool topic today, no-code network automation. We're going to talk about how it's totally changing the game for managing these massive, complex IT networks. And, get this, how it can actually fix problems before they even start. I want you to think about this for a second. Just imagine, what if you could fix a network outage before it even happens? I know it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but that's the actual promise of the tech we're going to break down today. All right, so to really get why this is such a big deal, we have to talk about the problem first. And the truth is right now, IT teams are dealing with a full-blown network complexity crisis. I mean, let's make it personal for a second. Why does it feel like our digital lives, our work apps, our streaming, everything, just grind to a halt so often? We've all been there, right? Staring at that loading spinner, wondering what on earth is going on. Well, the answer is kind of mind-blowing. It's because the networks that run literally everything look like this now. This isn't just a server in a closet anymore. No way. We're talking about these incredibly complicated hybrid networks that go from on-premise data centers across SD-WANs and into a mix of public clouds like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. Trying to manage all that, it's a huge, huge task. And the old way of doing things, it just can't keep up. You know what I'm talking about. Troubleshooting is slow. It takes a ton of manual effort, service requests crawl along, and you're stuck with these one-off automation scripts that only one or two people in the whole company actually understand. It's a system that's just begging to break. So, okay, if the old way is broken, what's the new way? Well, it all comes down to a really powerful idea: automation, for everyone, not just for the expert coders. And that brings us to this idea of no-code automation. Think about it like this. It's a platform that lets the actual network engineers, the people who have all that deep hands-on knowledge, turn their expertise into powerful automations they can use again and again. And the best part? They can do it without having to be a software developer. It's all about putting the power back in their hands. And hey, this isn't just some theory. A customer who uses this technology put it perfectly. They said, AI bot and reverse engineering are a big help for my team of no-code background. That just proves it, right? You can unlock so much potential without having a whole team of programmers. So how on earth does this actually work? I mean, how can you automate something so incredibly complex without writing a bunch of complex code? Well, the secret is in this amazing concept: creating a perfect digital copy of your entire network. It all kicks off by building something called a full-stack digital twin. Now, what's so cool about this is that it's not just a map. It's a live, one-to-one digital copy of your network that understands everything, at every single layer. From the individual devices to the topology of how they're all connected, to the flow of data, and right up to the top, the business rules for how your network is supposed to behave. And here's what that digital twin actually looks like in action. I want to be super clear. This is not a static diagram that's old the minute you make it. Nope. This is a dynamic, living, breathing map. You can see the real-time status of every device. You can trace any data path. You can understand every single connection as it exists right this second. So you're probably asking, how does this twin get so smart? Well, it's through a process called reverse engineering. First, the system automatically discovers everything on your live network. Then, and this is the magic right here, it reverse engineers all the configurations to understand not just what's on the network, but how it's actually designed to work. Once it has that deep knowledge, then you can build incredibly precise automations that know exactly what's going on. Okay, so that's the tech, but what's the real-world impact? What does this all mean for the people on the front lines? Well, we're talking about a massive change in timelines, from hours of painful work down to just a few minutes. Let's ground this in reality for a sec. This is data from a real Fortune 500 company showing their most common network headaches. And just look at these numbers. More than 2,000 incidents of an extreme loop. Over 1,600 times a critical BGP connection, which helps run the internet, just dropped. These aren't once-in-a-while things, they are constant, painful problems. And now, look at the after picture. This is the automation effect. Before, fixing one of those repetitive incidents took on average 12 hours. 12! After automation, it's down to 10 minutes. That's a 99% improvement. Even for those weird, tricky problems that disappear and reappear, the time drops from an hour to 5 minutes. The impact is just staggering. And what does all that time saved add up to in terms of money? Well, this much.
An analysis showed the potential savings from fewer outages, less labor, and faster repairs can be over $835,000 a month. Yeah, that's a number that changes everything for a business.
So here's the most important part. This isn't just about doing the same old stuff faster. It's about a fundamental shift in how you operate. It's about moving from being reactive to being truly proactive. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. The old way, the reactive way, is all about fighting fires, trying to get the repair time down after something's already broken, and manual escalations. The new proactive way, it's about preventing changes that cause problems, constantly assessing the health of the network, and using automation to enforce the rules that keep it running smoothly.
You can think of it like this. It's the difference between being a detective who shows up after the crime and being a security guard who prevents the crime from ever happening in the first place. It's a complete shift from firefighting to fire prevention. And this is so important because it lets you solve the really scary problems. Things like a failover system that isn't working right. That's not a small glitch. That's a huge, catastrophic priority 1 disaster just waiting to happen. The goal here is to find and fix that weakness before it can ever cause that disaster.
So let's end where we started, with a final question for you. If you could take all the knowledge, all the experience, all the intuition of your single best engineer, and you could scale it across your entire network, 24/7, what impossible problems could you finally solve for good?